Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about how to use content marketing specifically for B2B. Now there's a lot of information out there on how to market to consumers, but not a whole lot out there, especially recently, on B2B marketing. And everything has changed as far as human behavior, more so in the past few years than in any other period in our lifetime. So we have to adapt our marketing. So I'm going to be focusing on that today. At the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to do. So in this video, I'm going to be thinking about how we can connect better with B2B audiences and rethinking what that means, because audiences have shifted. As I mentioned, our prospects have changed. So have we. We all have. And we can't market the way we used to. So what that means is that we are now more down to earth. We have what I call the BSO meter is very sensitive right now. We don't have much tolerance for BS, for marketing speak, for pitches, for all of those buzzwords and uber professionalism and how you talk. And yes, that's true B2C, but it's also now true B2B more than ever. Because at the end of the day, the people that you are marketing to inside businesses, they're just human beings. They're just human beings at work. And the way that they think and the way that they've changed and the way that they make decisions and what they respond to is all based on human behavior. So it's not that different these days in how you market B2C versus B2B. So there are three phases to this that I'm going to cover. The first phase is research. You have to do your research and figure out what's relevant to your prospects today, because that may have changed, likely did change quite a bit in the past few years. And one way to do this, ask them. I'm sure that you already have some existing customers who absolutely love your company, love what you do, and would be more than happy to be honest with you about what they wish you would do more of and what you're lacking and maybe what you're also doing really well, so you can keep doing that. So research person to person whenever possible. Of course, research the market, your industry, all that stuff. But the whole point is to create an updated avatar. If you haven't heard this phrase before, you can Google it. Basically, it means you're going to create a whole persona around your ideal prospect, down to what they do in their spare time. Give them a name. What are their hobbies? What's their family situation? What's their education level? How long have they been in their job? Form this avatar. And you may have more than one avatar, which, start out with one if you can. It'll make your marketing a lot simpler, and you can always expand on that later to appeal to other avatars. But the things I'm going to be talking about here, as far as the next two steps in this after you do your research, are going to appeal to everybody. We're going to tweak them just a little bit in your verbiage, the language that you use, etc., based on your avatar. But pretty much these things are universal these days. So you've done your research, and now it's time to create your content marketing plan for business to business marketing prospecting. So the very most important thing here is humanizing your content like never before. This can be a little bit uncomfortable because you feel like maybe you should keep that filter up because you're talking to businesses. Not true. Today, as I mentioned in a previous video, we are so over all of that. Think about you and how you've changed it just in the past few years. We want real, genuine connections, conversations. We want our information delivered without a pitch. We don't want the flowery language. We don't want the stock photos. We want real human beings conversing with us in a transparent, authentic, real human way. So the very first thing out of the gate, you've got to humanize your content. When we're talking about content marketing for B2B, it's really the same struggles that you have if you're marketing B2C. It's those top three of how do you stand out today in a really crowded marketplace? How do you build trust at a time when skepticism is at an all-time high in the world? And then how do you become more memorable, especially if you sell a commodity or if what you're selling has a long sales cycle? Then you really need to make sure that your company becomes memorable so that when your prospects have a need, they only think of you. How cool would that be? So how do we achieve those standing out, building trust, and being more memorable in today's content marketing world? Well, we have to have a variety. I mentioned humanized conversations, humanized materials in all of your marketing, no more stock photos, all that. We also now need to focus on a variety. We can't just say the same thing over and over and over again. That actually used to work years ago. That's kind of an old way of thinking about marketing, where repetition, that old adage, you have to have like 9 or 12 touch points, the number's always changing, to become memorable. Not necessarily true today. And what companies would do was they would just repeat, hoping eventually you'd remember that jingle or that slogan. No. Today, think of yourself, we want variety. So that means a variety in your messaging. That means we've got to cover, not just inform our prospects and our customers, we've got to engage with them by sharing things that are maybe purely conversational, just to engage and start a dialogue with them. We've got to post content that makes us purely likable. We've got to create content, this is important, that shares your company's values. Did you know that over 90% of millennials want to know what you stand for and will align themselves with businesses who stand for what they stand for? Now you might be saying, oh, we don't want to alienate part of our market. Also an old way of thinking. Today, rather than be all things to all people, we want to be everything to a rabid following of ambassadors who are going to look nowhere else. They're not going to price shop. They're going to sing our praises whenever they get a chance to. They're going to leave glowing testimonials. Whenever anybody asks about a company in your industry, they're going to refer you. This is what we want. And I know that you can think of several major companies who have done this very thing, and they've stood by their values and they have a rabid following. And that, I would bet, is worth far more to their bottom line than just not taking a stance, being all things to all people. So that one is also important, sticking to your values and sharing those openly so that you align with the right customers and they align with you. 3 other ways that you can market to B2B. So there are posts that are merely about building your list. Those are things that typically offer something in exchange. They have a call to action and they say, get our ebook, get our report, sign up for this, get this freebie, get this discount, whatever it is, that is purely to build your list for future marketing. And that's absolutely cool. Another type of post is the selling, just purely selling, pitching, marketing, just all out. And we can't do that every time. That is a huge mistake. We have to have this variety. So pepper in those messages about buying our stuff, along with all the other types of posts that you can do on your social media or in your ads or wherever it is that you are marketing your company. And sometimes we really just want to post to showcase our authority. And that's okay. In content marketing for B2B, we absolutely have to be seen as an authority in our space, in our industry. And that's okay. What I typically like to do there, so that I'm not pitchy, so that I'm not salesy, is for my own marketing, is I will quote somebody famous or somebody well-known in the industry or share a statistic that's of value, but don't stop there. I then add context by sharing my expertise, my perspective, and that's what gives it value to build my following, not the following for the company who gave me the statistic or the person I quoted. I want to create a following for my business by showcasing our authority, my company's authority on the matter. So I've covered before how to research for your B2B content marketing and how to create a plan and create content for your B2B content marketing. And now it's time to deploy it. So what's the best way to do that today, given the fact that our audiences have changed so much? Well, if you're in B2B, It depends really on where your audience hangs out. Now, again, keep in mind at the end of the day, they're just human beings. So it could be any of the social media platforms. But if you're selling something to business professionals who are typically on LinkedIn, that's a great place because they're likely going to use their LinkedIn time while they're at work, whereas the other channels they may use in their leisure time. And that's also something to consider, is the different types of posts for where your prospects are hanging out. You would not necessarily want to post the same thing on LinkedIn that you would want to post on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. Now, you can double up. Absolutely. If you're creating a short video, a short form video, a minute for YouTube, absolutely redeploy that puppy on TikTok or on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you feel like your customers are hanging out. Because why reinvent the wheel? And but if you are posting on LinkedIn, variety there is important also. So we want to look at things like creating carousels. You've probably seen those. If you don't know what those are, Google that. But carousels are the hot thing on LinkedIn to really grab attention. Videos, because not many people do videos on LinkedIn. And humanized content, also because not many people are doing it on LinkedIn. And if you're the company that does it, you're going to stand out, and you're going to do it in a way that we know your prospects want today because of how they have changed as human beings. Nobody wants the super stuffy, uber professional, all of that business. No, we don't want that anymore. So the way you deploy your content, keeping in line with the formats that are most appealing and compelling on your platforms, also needs to have variety. And one of the cool things that I do, such as this, so I do long form videos for YouTube, but then knowing that some of my audience doesn't really have that kind of attention span, I will use tools out there, artificial intelligence tools, like one of them that we use is called Chopcast, and it will chop this one video into digestible little stories, shorts, for other platforms. So think about how you can double up. Now, if you blog on LinkedIn, which I highly recommend that you do, it's called a LinkedIn newsletter, high visibility, high readability, if you do it well and you aren't pitchy, is to repurpose that several different ways as well. And I've done a video on repurposing your content, but just as one example, use your LinkedIn newsletter on your company's blog. Change it up though, because the Google algorithm does not like seeing the exact same thing on LinkedIn and vice versa. So there are a lot of different ways to post this, but I will also say on LinkedIn, if you're solely posting on your company page, that's not as effective as it can be. Humans posting your content is far better than your company posting your content. So have your employees post on their pages, and then your company can then share those posts on the company page. So that's one way of keeping that information going on your company page, but also have that information come from the living, breathing humans within your company. Far more trustworthy, stands out far better than your company pushing out content is to have humans push out the content. So there you have it, the 3 steps that I promised you: researching, creating, and deploying for the best possible use of your time doing content marketing for B2B. Check out some of the other videos that I've made that I reference in this very video, and check out my website if you want to see how I repurpose information for myself, and follow me wherever you follow people. I'd love to engage with you. Thanks.